Okay, welcome to Talking Investing. This is me going live, take 2. I've been having
Not live.
really nice conversation with myself and George.
That was funny.
Thought I was talking to everybody.
I'm sorry. That was all my fault, guys.
Then we had technical difficulty. George had a power outage on his end. It's been chaos. So apologies for the late start. Just know we did start on time. We just were talking to ourselves, which is not the first time that has happened, I must admit.
Or the last.
Or probably not the last. FE702, thank you for the super chat. FE702 said, so that George can sell 1 share of CleanSpark so we can get back to 34K. There you go. There's $5, George. Sell your CleanSpark.
It's 33.8. What is it at? Is it higher than that?
The what?
Where's Bitcoin right now?
It's just under 33.8. So
yeah.
The last several, I'm on the 15-minute. You guys should be able to see the 15-minute chart. By the way, please smash the like button if you would be so kind. Since I messed up the stream and I went live late, we probably need a little extra help in the like column to get people onto the stream. And thank you everybody who waited. I'm talking to myself, and then I'm like, you guys let me know in the chat, if you can hear me. And of course, I got the point after about 10 minutes. So I'm not, I'm a little technologically impaired. So anyway, I said hello to everybody, but you guys didn't hear it. So hello everybody.
No, that all was there. That was there.
Was it?
Yeah, you got all that.
So I
went off.
Oh, so we were on, then we were off, and then we were on? I don't know. In any event, we're back, or we're here.
Okay, go lay down, doggy. Did I lose you?
So what I was saying, no. All right. So, first of all, we are having a nice little rally here now that the market is closed at the end of the day on Friday. We did get down to like an hour. This was 2 hours ago. We got down to, let's see, what was the low here? 33,425. So everybody for the last 36 hours has been out there saying, oh, traders are looking to hold 34,000. That's a key number. And, I don't know if that's a key number or not. I don't have that as a key number. And obviously we did not hold that. And particularly this afternoon, we had a big sell-off in Bitcoin. The market kind of sold off. It was doing all right. And especially the NASDAQ was green all day long. And then it did have a sell-off all afternoon. Standard issue Friday afternoon stuff. So, I don't think anybody's shocked at that, but it is always frustrating. And I don't play the short-term game, so I don't try and, day trade the sell-off on a Friday afternoon. So it is what it is. Did anybody buy anything today? Did anybody buy anything this week? Edmund said, Tom, you were not on earlier today. So I think, George, our whole entire conversation that we had for 15 minutes was amongst ourselves. So apologies.
Well, he said hi to everybody.
I went down the whole list. So if you are a subscriber, just know that George and I thought we were saying hello. So thank you to all subscribers. Thank you to all members for your support, and hello everyone. And I'll just take a second because you guys have earned it, especially on a tough week. Hello Steven, and hello Crypto Fever, and hello Barry, Robert, Scott, Darren. Let's see. Cosmic Contrarian, Craig, Mr. J, Nash V, Darren Thomas, Sour Melon Gaming, Edmund. All right, welcome to Talking Investing. Barry Curran, Darren Thomas, if I've said your name more than once, FV702, welcome. And again, thanks for the super chat, just in case I wasn't on when I said that. Miguel, welcome. Hello, Miguel. And if I've missed anybody, hello, everybody. I'm trying to scroll down. Hello, Peter. I'm just going to scroll because I'm missing everything. Sour Melon Gaming has done a member chat. Sour Melon Gaming has been a member of Talkin' Investing for the last 8 months. So thank you very much for being a member and for supporting the channel. And Sour Melon Gaming says, I got a bad feeling miners will continue getting cheaper into the end of year. Companies will just continue diluting anyway. I don't see ETF till early 2024. So that's definitely a poll we need to take. Everything is about the ETF right now. I've watched more YouTube this week than I usually do because I'm trying to get a sense on what everybody else is thinking out there. So we'll definitely do some polls today. Let's do a poll right now. Sorry, these take me just a second to type.
Sorry. Sorry, a friend of mine got in an accident.
That's not good.
He can't be my friend anymore.
That's false. That's not correct.
I'm sick too, guys. That's why I'm not even talking.
You can play through the pain, George.
I hope so. Dude, so I went and got a... Look at this. Chase gave this little card out. And they...
Oh, what have I
They
done?
gave me $900 for free to open up a credit card.
That's nice.
Suckers. Yeah, I'm doing that. You got to spend $6,000 in the first 3 months.
I'm ending this poll. I did the wrong poll. This is a real technical difficulty day. I apologize, everybody.
It's a full moon.
It's, I guess. All right, talk him through it, George, because I'm going to type
full
this
moon.
and concentrate.
Full moon. When is it? When is the full moon, guys? It's going to be any day now. I know it. This is a full hunter's moon. What day? Peak October Saturday at 4:24 Eastern Time PM. I knew it was coming up. So it could just be another little pump. You know what I've noticed with CleanSpark? They have a lot of positive action after hours. I'm back, almost back up to where I got it from, so I'm down 1 penny now.
Did you buy today? Are you buying?
Yeah, I just bought my normal. I do a nice little trade on. I've been doing this trade now for weeks. So I'm back up like 12 grand. So I know Tom doesn't like to do it that way, but I do.
I have no issue with people that day trade or swing trade.
I swing trade.
I just, for me,
I punt trade.
I'm on record. I do, I do some of that with options and that kind of stuff, but the vast majority of what I do is just dollar cost average in and buy and hold. And we're going to talk about that time frame. Definitely want to talk about that today because it's been a pretty rough road.
It's been, yeah, they're really making us pay for it. Oh.
Okay, now, hopefully this poll makes sense now. So, all right, when will we get our Bitcoin ETF? In 2023. There's only 2.5 months. Well, you know what? I'm saying 2.5 months, but it's really 2 months and 1 week. And it's the end of the year. So, like, that is coming at us fast. Prior to the halving, which should be in April of 2024, by the end of the year 2024, so after the halving, but still in 2024, or 2025 or later, which would include the possibility if you think we're never going to get a Bitcoin ETF. Confidence is unbelievably high. The one thing that concerned me all week long is everybody that I saw was all of a sudden ultra bullish. I heard more price predictions. Let me know in the chat if you guys had a different experience than me, but everybody's out. I saw one of the biggest Bitcoin bulls of all time talking about Bitcoin $47,000. And I wish I could remember the guy's name right now. I thought his whole conversation was wacky. He did a technical analysis that I don't even consider a technical analysis. To me, it was a bunch of random lines, but some people might say that about my technical analysis for all I know. You know, it's more, that is, technical analysis is more of an art than a science, but this guy was just kind of drawing lines, and he's like, see here, 47,000, and then it's going to crash. So, I don't remember who that was. But he's a guy I've seen many, many times, and he's always super, ultra bearish on Bitcoin. So, but he remained bearish, but in the middle of all of it, he said it's going to run up to 47,000, and then it's going to crash. And I saw, you know, everybody with these giant price predictions. So that will be our next poll. So put that in the back of your head, if you would. Let's talk price prediction. We'll do that poll next. I have some thoughts. I am bullish. I mean, I don't think it's a secret to anybody. I am long-term very bullish on Bitcoin. I also am fairly bullish going into the halving. But now all of a sudden I feel like I may be on the bottom end. You know, my number is still pretty similar, and I think I was higher than the vast majority of people, but sentiment has flipped very quickly. My only cautionary statement to that is it could flip again just as fast. This is what happens in cryptocurrency, as you guys know.
What's happened to the fear and greed index, Tom?
We are... Good question, George. We are green. I'm going to go look at that right now. We are now in the greed. We were 71 yesterday. We're 70 today. And that, you know, that will change 3 hours from now. I suspect it'll pull back a little bit. The last couple of days, you know, Bitcoin's been, I think the price action on Bitcoin is very, very strong. Bitcoin ran up. We'll do the math a little bit on the chart. It had a gigantic, massive run up, and it really has hardly given any of it back at all. So I think this is some nice consolidation. I was expecting, and still am maybe expecting, a little bit more of a pullback in the very short term, just to create some type of line of support that we test. And then I do think it's up from there. Short term, you know, the next month or 2 months. That's my opinion, but and we're in greed. What were you expecting, George? What do you feel? What are you seeing out there?
I'm seeing that it's time to sell.
You think it's time to sell?
No. Did you see this? Everybody's talking about the Golden Cross. Hang on. Hang on. Let me get John off the line.
All right. Yes. Thank you, Darren Thomas. Thank you for the super chat. Tom, are we going to a Golden Cross soon at 34,000? So, I mean, unless something weird happens, that seems highly likely. So, I within maybe days. And this, I will caution everybody, and, you know, in this instance, I think people are talking about the 50-day crossing the 200-day, and that looks imminent. But I will say, these, you know, one side of this is a golden cross. The other side is a death cross, which sounds like, you know, horrible, horrible things. But for the last couple of years, these crosses in either direction have meant a lot less than they did in the past. So, you know, the last time we had one of these, I did caution everybody. I I don't know how important or significant it is. Now, I do think, it does coincide with I am
full
bullish
moon?
right now.
For the full moon?
Maybe. I don't know. Did you tell everybody when the full moon was?
It's tomorrow at 4 o'clock. It's exactly 24 hours from right now.
Full moon coming at us tomorrow.
I don't know if that means it's a pump or a dump, but
well, we had a couple of rough days. We won't get our members only chat went sideways a little bit. You know what? We can revisit that, George. Somebody, I think it was FV702 or Crypto Fever, somebody jumped in and said, let's how do we get off track here into gloom and doom? Speaking of doom and gloom, I just want to bring up Ford Motors. Stock ticker F. I'm sure all of you are familiar with Ford. Well, I'm not sure, but I would imagine most of you are familiar with Ford. So Ford had a massive move to the downside today. This was down 12.25% today. Ford is not a stock that moves like this. This is a blue chip type of a stock. This is a slow and steady. And, over time it's had a nice run, but 12% down in one day. And you want to take one guess, George, what their issue was on their call? I'm putting you on the spot. We have not talked about this at all. Which part of Ford's business do you think they're changing guidance on?
Oh,
a little bit worried about.
EVs, baby.
You are correct.
Yeah, you should hear what is going on, the sentiments on EVs. Wow.
Ford withdraws its 2023 forecast, warns of higher losses on EVs. This crushed the stock. We have been talking about this on this channel, and it's probably not a popular opinion. We can do a poll and see where you guys are at, but we've been talking for a long time on this channel that EVs are getting decimated. I think there will be almost no survivors in the EV space. Almost none. Tesla, obviously, and I always have to preface that by saying I am not a Tesla fan. I don't dislike them. I'm not a fanboy. I'm not one of those people who's a Tesla cheerleader. But you've got to acknowledge they're one of the biggest companies in the world. They've gone through the entire curve. They're cash flow positive. They're profitable, and they may have some years better than others, but they put themselves into a category where they're not going away. The rest of these companies, I would not be surprised if, I'll say 95% of companies in the EV space, that counts whether they directly make an electric vehicle or they have something to do with batteries or charging stations. All of these companies have gotten eviscerated in the last year and a half, and it just keeps getting worse. On one of the last couple of live streams, and I can't remember if it was the members only or last Friday's public, somebody was talking about ChargePoint. That is a stock I pay very close attention to. I've never bought it, and at this point there is no price target. Usually I'll take a look at a stock if I think it's a company that's got something going on, but it's just getting beaten up with getting a lot of times, as we're risk off, so many of these high growth stocks have just gotten decimated regardless of how they're doing. I'll use, in my opinion, CleanSpark as an example and Bitfarms as an example. Operationally speaking, if you look at their operations, and their performance is excellent in my opinion, but the stocks are both beat up because the Bitcoin miners are beat up. All risk on stocks, all small cap, high growth stocks, and there's, I never use the word all, but the absolute vast majority are decimated. And I'm not talking about down 30 or 40%. I'm talking about when I see a stock down 85%, my knee-jerk reaction now, and this has never been true in the history of the stock market, my knee-jerk reaction is like, wow, that's got a long way to go before it bottoms out. Like, I wouldn't even think about buying a high-growth stock down 85%. Almost everything that I have bought, other than, in my risk on growth stuff is down somewhere between 90 and 99%. I would say they average down 95%. And that includes all the Bitcoin miners, by the way. From their highs, from their all-time highs, most of which was in November of 2021. Now, Bitcoin hit its all-time high in November, I think November 8th or 9th of 2021. So all the Bitcoin miners hit their all-time high at that same time. But if you look at it, almost all the high growth stocks either peaked in like February of 2021, or a lot of them ran all the way up through, the last call was November of 2021. It's just been down from there ever since.
Who called the top and I got in a fight with somebody online? Does anybody remember that I called the top on Tesla? And you guys are you're out of your mind, George. You're out of your mind. I missed it. I'm not gonna lie, I missed it by like $15 or $20.
Let's see what our friend Tesla is doing here.
No, I'm saying Tesla's a great investment with your money, not my money.
With other people's money.
With other people's money, it's the best investment out there.
So it's at 2. So it's kind of today was okay for Tesla, but if I go, let's pull up the Tesla chart.
Tesla will make a comeback, but I'm just not ready to turn it back on yet. The only thing I'm waiting for is for our United States government to go and say, oh, we're going to give $100 million to EVs. Once they do that, then EVs will be hot again.
100 billion.
Yeah, 100 billion. Because that's what's coming.
So
that's what's coming.
We've looked we've done chart analysis on this big time, but 216 was a line. You could see that was resistance. It broke through and it held. And even right here back in, this wasn't too long ago, in August, it spent one day down underneath that, but it pretty much held. But now this gapped down on earnings, and now it's broken this line of support. So George, to your point, I don't know where the end is for Tesla. I got my next big line of support is down at like $163. I haven't spent a lot of time looking at this. Yeah.
You should have wrote your tagline should have been Bloody Monday.
You think
Mondays... we could have a Bloody Monday or Tuesday, I think. Remember I said it last Tuesday. I was in shock that it didn't happen then, but it kind of did happen then. If you look at the market overall and you look at the slide, it did start at the beginning. We were talking about 29. In 1929, it didn't just crash. It took a few days and then it crashed.
Yeah, and that was, I think it ended up being like October 30th and 31st or something like that once we dug into it.
How can Tesla be doing so well when they just came out the other day that car loans at the highest level of defaults in the history of them tracking it? And that's Tesla. I mean, right?
I mean, Tesla would be a part of that, you would think. I don't know. I don't think that they would be...
I don't say the market's falling apart every week. I never do that. I said I was worried about the Tuesdays of this month. That's what I said.
Yeah, you specifically talked about the next 2 Tuesdays, one of which has passed, which leaves just one more Tuesday for your doom scenario.
I think the only thing that can save EVs at this point in time is a government bailout.
But who's it going to save? I mean, who's it going to save? Because
it's going to, the investors, if they're in them. Like, I know a guy who's in NEO at $40-some.
Well, and, our government isn't giving any money to NEO.
No, but I think they're going to do some type of, tax credit, or maybe even deeper. They have to build out an infrastructure. That's what people forget about with gas, and you told me this, Tom. what is it, seven? How many billions of dollars or trillions of dollars in infrastructure already set up for gas?
Right. It took a long, long time to set up the infrastructure for, the gas vehicles, the combustion engine. And, everybody's writing that off as if it's gone. But, we've got to, and that's why, that goes right to my point, George. We have to build, I think they're looking to build, correct me if I'm wrong, but the number that I have in my head is just in the U.S., we were looking to build 500,000 charging stations. So you would think, with just a tiny percent of our infrastructure built out, and forget the grid can't support any of that at all. So that's its own issue. And that's not me saying that. Elon Musk most famously recently said, our grid needs to double or triple in order to facilitate, switching from the combustion engine to all EV vehicles. So that's a different problem. I'm just talking about putting the charging stations up. So if we need to put all these charging stations up, and this is the future, and this is the next big thing, and I know I'm going to definitely get people, telling me I'm crazy right now, but why is every EV charging station company going out of business? Half of them are already out of business on my watch list, and the other half are at their all-time lows. So that is not a good sign for EVs. Now, Tesla is one of the reasons for that. There is one explanation. Tesla's taking over the charging station world as well. So, that's not helping these other pure play EV charging station companies like, ChargePoint and who am I forgetting? There's 3 or 4. And then I have another one that's a little bit different, which is stock ticker BEEM. They are in that game, but in a very, very different way. We did do a members-only deep dive on that a week or two ago, and that's an off-grid solution that is meant to complement the existing and future EV charging stations. So that's a different story. But Blink, ChargePoint, what's the other 2 or 3 that are left? And the other ones on my list are already gone. So, it's been brutal. Mark is saying that someone isn't very smart to still hold Neo.
Yeah, I don't.
That just jumped out at me. I can hardly read the chat, guys. Sorry, I did something to shrink it. I don't know what on earth I did, but I can't fix it.
No more bailouts, no more subsidies. Let the free market take its course. Yeah, I don't think that's happening. You realize if that happens, it's done. There'd be more chaos. There'd be a riot in the street within, what do you think, 60 days?
What? If what happened?
If no more subsidies, no more bailouts.
Well, I mean, we subsidize an awful lot of things right now, just as a matter of due course. In addition to the fact, I mean, we are currently still subsidizing electric vehicles in a massive way, and I'm sure there's a lot more to come. And I don't think I'm not saying EVs are going to disappear and they're not real and they don't exist. I'm just saying we are not, like everything else, all this stuff takes much, much, much longer than people think and talk about. We're not 10 years or 20 years away from getting rid of the combustion engine. And if you look at actually the U.S. government statistics, think that even 20 years from now, I think it's going to be still, they're anticipating something in this over 70% of vehicles will still be, the internal combustion engine gas using vehicles. So, that's the reality. People make it sound like, Honda, I'm just going to call Honda out. they have a campaign going right now here in the U.S. I don't know if you guys let me know from around the world. And then I'll get to FV702's question in just a second. I'm not ignoring you. They have a campaign. This is Honda. We're going to be carbon neutral by 2050. So
So they're going out of business.
right. There's one way they can be carbon neutral by 2050, and that's what George just said.
Yep.
That would be for them to go out of business. There's no other scenario that is within reason, in my humble opinion, where they could possibly even. I mean, it's laughable, but that's what people throw stuff at us, and we're just supposed to sit here and listen to it and believe it, and we got to use our common sense, especially, remember, this is an investing channel. We're talking about investing. So when all these narratives are going on and people expect us to believe certain things, we can't get wrapped up into it in a way where we're investing our money in the wrong things potentially. Okay, let me take a sidetrack. FV702, thank you very much for the super chat. I'm out. Go Knights, go. Early game. Bitcoin 35K on Monday. Well, that is entirely within reason. We hit 35K twice last week. We've pulled back a little bit. I'm on the daily. Let's get back to the 15-minute and see what's going on. So you can see we've had a nice, this looks better than it is, but from the bottom to a couple hours ago until right now, we're up 1%. That's a significant, nice little move up. Having said that, from the flip side, from where Bitcoin was when the U.S. equity markets closed on Thursday, yesterday, until now, we're down, 0.7%. So that was a pretty small down day. So this is another day where the Bitcoin miners just are not doing what they should be doing compared to Bitcoin. And that's been true for now. This is week 15. So I'll do my charts this weekend. But we're 15 weeks into the Bitcoin miners behaving badly. There was one really good day in there, but even that good day didn't really even keep up with the unbelievable day that Bitcoin had. Let's take a look at this poll and end this, and then we'll get another poll going. Also, if everybody would be so kind as to smash the like button. We are at 67 likes. We always go for 100 likes. You guys have been pretty much undefeated getting us 100 likes. It does help the stream in real time, so much appreciated. And also, if you're not subscribed to the channel, someday over the rainbow, I will be at 15, or we will be at 15,000 subscribers. We're at 14,990. It's like there's some invisible force field between us and 15,000 subscribers.
It's crazy, isn't it?
It's absolutely unbelievable. So if you're not subscribed, if you enjoy this content, if you like the channel, or even if you just feel like doing us a favor, you can hit the subscribe button in addition to smashing the like button. It would be much appreciated. We're patiently awaiting getting to 15,000 subscribers. Could be on tonight's stream.
Dude,
I'll check in real time.
I'll be honest with you, Tom.
Yeah.
I didn't think it would take this long to get to 15,000.
No, this is way longer than pretty much our longest
so my
case
question
scenario.
Is, what's going to take longer? Us to get to 100,000 or Bitcoin to get to 100,000?
It better be us.
What do you mean? I want to be 100,000 next week.
I would much rather, for my sake, your sake, and our subscribers' sake, our members' sake, I'd rather Bitcoin get to 100,000 than our subscribers get to 100,000. And obviously, I want our subscriber base to get to 100,000. But money.
It says it's going to take
us till November.
It says it's going to take us till November 3rd on Social Blade, by the way.
To get to 15,000?
15,000, yeah.
There have been many days in the past where we get
how do you
30 subscribers.
Right here, since Thursday, according to this, you've got no subscribers.
And since Thursday, according to the YouTube statistics, I'm doing the math here, we've gotten 18 subscribers.
That's still none.
Right. I mean, we're crawling. So help us.
Help us, help you, help us.
No, in this instance, it's just you helping us. So be kind. Smash the subscribe button. I mean, Bitcoin's at 35,000. It's a lot closer to 100,000 than we are. And I can guarantee you every single one of our subscribers would much rather Bitcoin get to 100,000. Crypto Golfer said, years from now, I can say I was one of the first 15,000. Thank you, Crypto Golfer. I know you've been with us a long time. Everybody here, it is still early, not just for our channel. It's still early for Bitcoin. I mean, this is still very early as far as an asset class goes. I mean, it's technically not even officially an asset class yet, but I believe that cryptocurrency will be a full-blown asset class. It will ultimately have that type of a market cap to rival, gold and those kind of things. So while it seems like this is taking forever, because in cryptocurrency years, this feels like an eternity, but it has been a short period of time, all things considered. So hopefully everybody, I know it's rough, but and I know you guys aren't losing your patience because you're still here. So, and we appreciate that. I want to personally
Tom,
thank everybody.
My patience.
I know, George. Craig, thank you very much for the super chat. Craig had nothing in specific to say other than just to give us a super chat. Oh, Craig, America's Bitcoin miner today announced it has surpassed a total hash rate of 10 exahash per second. By the way, America's Bitcoin miner, of course, is, and that is, I see the trademark next to that, is CleanSpark. So CleanSpark reached its goal of 10 exahash. They did put that press release out today. So congratulations to CleanSpark. The stock market didn't notice because CleanSpark was down 4.82%.
I know. Can you believe that? How disgusting is that to really look at it?
It makes no sense. I bought CleanSpark this week.
Oh, you did?
I did. That should surprise nobody. There was 2 weeks where I bought nothing. That time flies. I don't know if that was 1 month ago or 2 months ago or maybe more than that. There was 2 weeks I bought nothing. Other than that, I bought CleanSpark almost every single week for the last couple of years. Whether it's a few shares or depending on the move, sometimes a bunch of shares. And I continue to buy into Bitfarms. I've bought more Riot. I did let everybody know that, I'm also now adding to my position. I opened a position and continue to add to a position in MicroStrategy as well. So that's not a Bitcoin miner, but that, that is the publicly traded company with the most Bitcoin on its balance sheet by far. Now, I'll qualify that, their own Bitcoin. So MicroStrategy's Bitcoin, and I think they're at about 160,000 now on the balance sheet. They own those. Those are theirs. So there are other companies like Robinhood and Coinbase that have a lot of Bitcoin, but they are just custodians of other people's Bitcoin. So MicroStrategy is, there's nobody's in second. Let's put it this way. Of all the Bitcoin miners, the Bitcoin miner that has by far the most Bitcoin on their balance sheet is Marathon, and they have, I'm assuming when they put their October operational report, they will have crossed 14,000. So, that if that puts things in perspective, they're in the top 10 companies of most Bitcoin on their balance sheet. So they're at 14,000 and, MicroStrategy's at 160,000. Nikki, new sub here. Thank you very much. Much appreciated. What's up? Doing a great job, guys. Thank you, Nikki, for the super chat, and thanks for subscribing to the channel. We are now one closer to 15,000. We're counting down. So thank you very much, and thanks for the super chat, and welcome. I don't know if you're new to the channel altogether, or if you just now became a sub. And Nikki said, now smash the like, people. So yes, if everybody could do us a favor, we're at 85 likes. If you'd be so kind as to smash the like button, it helps the live stream out a lot in real time. We're trying to grow these live streams, and we have been. They've been growing steadily, and I know it is a core group of us that are making that happen. So special thanks to all you guys. All know who you are, who show up, you know, every Friday for the live stream. Good weeks, bad weeks, and, you know, for the last long time now, it's been more bad weeks than good weeks. But I do want to visit earlier in the week this week, because we had a gigantic move in Bitcoin. I mean, we had one of the all-time breakouts in Bitcoin. So you wouldn't know it holding Bitcoin mining companies. But I want to explain why I'm disappointed. I mean, I'll be honest. I thought these Bitcoin miners would have made a much, much bigger move in the short term. So while I'm disappointed in the short term, I do still think the miners that I'm investing in are going to get where they're going. So earlier I mentioned time frame.
I love that statement.
Well, by that I mean I still think we're looking at multiple moves to the upside. 2x's, 3x's, 5x's, you know, depending on the Bitcoin miner. I still think all of those moves are ahead. I really expected a lot more of a move. I thought we were, and I've been saying for months, our high for the year 2023 was, I think, 31,860-ish. And let me go to the 1 day while I talk about this, so this makes more sense. So I have this whatever color, this aqua colored line right here, 31,862 on this chart. That was the high for the year 2023. I had been saying since the beginning of October, I thought we would have a breakout in October. I thought we would run somewhere between 30 and 32,000. And I thought once we made that run, that's when the Bitcoin miners would take off. I thought not until, I really thought particularly we had this red line here, and you could see we were under this. This was from August 17th through, really, we broke out of this October 20th. That's 2 full months that this was a line of resistance. And I said that whole time, I just don't think the Bitcoin miners are going to break out until we can get out of this rut. But we did get out of this. We had a week here that was off to the races. I'm going to take just one time out. We have a super chat, so I want to... Bull Trader, thank you very much for the super chat. Bull Trader has to say, bet the house on Mara. They will 10x, only a matter of time, gentlemen. Thanks for the excellent commentary. So we have, you are not alone, Bull Trader. There are several people that are in our group that are extremely bullish on Marathon. I think, you know, by far, RIOT and Marathon are the largest by market cap out of all the Bitcoin miners. I do think there'll be a couple that start to put themselves in that group. To Craig, who gave us a super chat earlier, mentioned one of them. CleanSpark is now at 10 exahash. I think they're moving into that league. There's a lot of other Bitcoin miners that are at various stages of making some big moves, but Marathon, no doubt, has scaled up. They scaled up first. They did just do another $750 million at the market shelf offering this week.
Ooh, did they really?
There's some, they got some plans, and we've been talking about that on the channel a lot as well.
Did they really, Tom? When did they announce that?
They did a filing with the SEC. No press release.
Oh, really?
But they filed it with the SEC this week. $750 million. So, for those of you who don't know, and most of you probably know, shelf offerings, that doesn't mean they're going to go, dilute themselves $750 million next week. They're typically open for a couple of years. You can use them. The typical languages from time to time at a time of their choosing. It's not all at once. They can do this whenever they want. So what you hope when a company does that is obviously they'll be smart. They're not going to be diluting the company, you would hope, at times when the stock is beaten down. So hopefully they'll, and, the main thing you hope is that what they do with that money is highly accretive to the company, and it helps the growth of the company. It helps the top line. It helps the bottom line revenue. Particularly with these companies, you want to make sure it's helping long-term, actually short-term cash flow, because, these companies need to be cash flow positive going into the halving. Now, Marathon and Riot in particular, and Hut I will put in that category, those three companies have particularly strong balance sheets, so they're probably a little bit less worried. They don't have to worry about cash flow going into the halving from the standpoint of staying in business, but every company should be worried about their cash flow. Every company should be worried about their profitability, and certainly every company, if they're going to go out and spend $750 million. Now, for them, everything is relative, because remember, they're somewhere around a $2 billion market cap. So
that's a lot better than what I did.
Right. So on the other end of the spectrum, and again, I'm not saying one's good and one's bad. Well, maybe I am, but no, I'm not. Iris came out with a $500 million shelf offering a month or two ago now. I lose track of time. Time flies, but on their last earnings call, simultaneous with that, they did an at-the-market shelf offering for $500 million, but they are not a $2 billion company. They're a $200 million company. So, that's not a third of their market cap. It's 3 times their market cap, or 2.5 times their market cap. So, there is a big difference. Now, they did a presentation. They did a very detailed job of exactly what it was that they were going to do with that money. So, and I do think it depends on how you feel about management. If you think management's going to be judicious with that money and smart, and they're going to put it to use and grow the business in the way that they explained, then, ultimately that's going to be a good thing. But it does, if you're a shareholder, you do have to change your time frame. You have to be more patient, because the fact is, as a $200 million company, if they're going to go spend $500 million, they're going to have to turn into a $700 million market cap company just for their stock price to stay identical to where it is right now once they use that dilution. So
I hate dilution. Oh, I hate it.
This is a highly capital intensive industry, the Bitcoin mining industry, and all these companies are in very, very early stages. Even, Marathon, which has already, spent billions of dollars, and it's still early on, and the technology changes so fast. They're now the new Bitcoin mining machine, the S21, and there's a couple other companies that have, something very similar in nature. Those are now, I think, 17.5 joules per terahash. That's the net. I think the whole entire Bitcoin network is somewhere, just about double that. So that's how much more efficient the newest machine is than the average machine on the network right now. And, even the latest and greatest, which was the XPs, I think were 21.5. So this will continue to happen. So companies are going to continue to need to invest money. So I understand that, they have to raise money. And I'm going to end this poll right now, and let's get another one going. Sorry to cut myself off.
They needs to raise money.
Who?
Them's people.
This is
the Bitcoin miner. You don't understand. There's a lot of numbers coming at us. They're coming at us quick.
Things are moving fast.
I just hope, and I'm being serious for. Can I be Shirley for a second? Can I be serious for a second? I really just hope somebody buys SDIG.
The company.
Yes, I really just hope somebody buys them because they're not going to make it if no one buys them.
I hope somebody buys them, or, listen, you don't know. Who knows? Bitcoin could take, a bull run that, maybe is faster and more furious than we're thinking.
Yeah, I think they're going to miss it just by that much.
Missed it by that much. All right, well,
let's say the bull run doesn't happen until middle of 24. Do they make it?
I mean, that's just about the time frame. Let me end this poll and start a new one, and then we'll pick up that conversation. Okay. When will we get a Bitcoin ETF? Okay, so in first place is prior to the halving in April 2024. So that means after, not in 2023, but in the first third of 2024. That's at 47%. 32% in second place, people think it'll be even faster than that, which is between now and the end of the year, which I said 2.5 months, but not realizing, once again, time flies. There's only 2 months and 1 week left in this year. So between those two, that's almost 80%.
80%, yeah. I did the end of 24, just so everybody knows.
By the end of 24 is another 17%, and then there are 4% that think it will be 2025 or later. So I don't know what percent. Some percentage of that may think we're not going to get one at all. The conventional wisdom as of a few weeks ago, even less than that, is that a Bitcoin ETF is imminent. So I'm more in, I'll stay where I've been, which is I really think we will get an ETF prior to the halving. So
I'm going to mark January 10th.
A lot of people are talking about January.
Marking it. I'm putting it in my little
mark it
folder
down
for you. Putting it in there.
Listen, I would be thrilled with January 10th. It doesn't have to be tomorrow. I'll be glad when it long as it happens prior to the halving, and really as long as it happens. But right now, I mean, you can't find a talking head on TV or the gigantic podcast, whoever the case may be. Everybody right now is calling for this to happen imminently. Like, people are talking about next week, this month. The outside scenario, George, kind of the date you just said is like the long outside date that most people are talking about. So that's a little more over enthusiastic than I am. Everything takes longer than it seems like. Did
you see that? John Q. Public said BlackRock Insider says this November. Oh, this just in. Person fired from BlackRock for leaking information.
There's a lot of this. Just what John Q. Public said, that's what's going on. There's a lot of, quote unquote insider, without naming sources. There's a lot of talk that the people in the know are out there saying this is about to happen. So I don't know. I'm not in the know. I'm just not. I'm not, right? We're all retail investors. We're paying attention as best we can, and obviously I do an awful lot of research, but I don't know.
I have a question. Do you think they'll announce it like on a late Friday, or do you think they're going to announce it like on a Monday morning? I bet you that's what they do. They announce it on a Monday morning. And you know what's sad? Make some friends with the SEC. Anybody you guys know anybody at the SEC, start taking them to lunch.
Well,
liquor them up a little bit.
I was going to say, you're going to have to do something because they'll be in an awful lot of trouble if they tip their hand on that one.
Oh, yeah. That never happens, Tom. Never. Where are you going to build it? Never, Neverland?
I'm going to end this poll. The bottom line is 80%-ish believe we're getting an ETF sometime before the halving. If not sooner.
You're feeling too?
Absolutely.
Or this year?
No, I think it's going to be sometime before the halving. I'm skeptical that it's going to be this year. I hope I'm wrong. And here's the thing. The reason I'm skeptical is because by the time I got done watching every single talking head for the last week, I was utterly convinced that we're getting a Bitcoin mining ETF in the next month. And that's the main thing that made me feel like that's not what's going to happen. Because every time everybody's converges on the exact same opinion, that very rarely ends up being what happens. So I feel like this is one of those moments. And that doesn't mean it's not going to happen at all. You know, if it's a month or 2 months later, listen, I lose track of 2 months at a time anymore. I don't know, maybe I'm getting old. I don't know what to tell you, but like...
Well, you are kind of in some single-digit same numbers. I'll just leave it like that. Same number, boy.
That's right.
Hey, have you paid attention to the FTX at all?
To the whole situation?
Yes.
I have not been paying attention. If you got
week.
news, bring us the news if you got any. I know that's...
I got news.
Yeah, bring it.
I just want to say something, and this because people don't understand how crazy crypto really is, and this is why I don't think we're going to see regulations anytime soon. Everybody thinks we're going to see regulations. I think we're going to see regulations on the exchanges, but I don't think we're going to see regulations like everybody wants to see regulations. And that is this. Still today, FTX in bankruptcy has not released who was holding the coins or who had wallets and who has what is it called? The creditors of the company. Not listed them. The first time in history of bankruptcy, by the way.
Have they not listed the creditors, or have they not listed
their creditors? And the creditors were the account holders. Because remember, when they go BK, all those people become creditors. That makes sense?
They're definitely, I mean, by the strict definition, they're a creditor. They're due money.
Right.
And they're even, I would assume I wouldn't assume. They're in line even above, you know, a standard issue unsecured creditor.
Right, yeah, I agree.
Their actual money.
Go do me a favor this weekend time. Go find the list of those people.
Yeah,
you're not gonna find it.
I'm guessing it's not out there.
No, and you know we've all been involved in. Well, I mean, you and I have been involved in bankruptcies, not necessarily ourselves. I will tell you that I did file bankruptcy. I'm not embarrassed to tell you; it's part of life.
But listen, that is a tool that is used by many. So,
but what I was going to say was this: how do they not list their? How is this not just open information?
I don't know. That's an interesting question, and I don't know if there's a technical reason because is there privacy issues?
Yeah, there's privacy issues. There's a lot of privacy issues. It's just I won't go any farther than that. But I think that's one of the reasons why we had some sell-off on Bitcoin today, by the way. Which seems to be coming back.
The SBF, Sam Bankman.
Yeah. Yep.
I'm
in the money, guys. We're back to 420 on CleanSpark after hours.
Woo-hoo. Nice. We're at 420. Come on. We were at I think we got up to $5.11 earlier in the week.
Tom.
What?
Nikki, 94 boo.
What?
He just subscribed and gave us $2. Thank you so
much.
Oh,
yes.
Tom,
yes.
I'm telling you, man, they are just holding you down. They got your... I won't say what I was going to say.
It's the man holding us down.
I'm telling you, this is crazy. Why is that?
Everybody rage against the machine and subscribe to the channel. Please.
Wow.
And while you're at it, you can smash the like button. Although, it's time to say thank you to everybody. We are over 100 likes, which is always our goal on the live stream. We got to start upping our goal, George. And thanks to everybody because the live stream is growing. Our viewership on the live stream is growing. Our viewership, despite the fact that the subscriber number is stuck in the mud, our views on our videos are doing very well. So thank you, everybody, for tuning in, watching the videos. Please feel free to leave your thoughts and comments. It's okay if you disagree with me. All opinions are welcome. Almost all opinions. Well, all opinions are welcome. Things that are not opinions, like, just general negative comments that are, you guys know what
You're
I'm
getting
saying.
some hate in here, Tom. Edmund was giving you a rough time. And let me read Edmund's quote, because that's really good, too. I want to hear this.
Yeah,
I want to hear your answer on it. Let me find it
fire
here.
away.
Sorry, the chat is taking off for some reason. Tom, do you own any other colored shirts besides black? That was a question in here.
I own many other colored shirts, but I will say I own a disproportionate. I only wear black shirts on the stream. I wear a black t-shirt underneath whatever shirt I'm wearing every single day. And, based on the fact that I live in hot weather, a lot of days I just wear a t-shirt. That's standard issue down here.
Okay. I was making that up.
Tom! You made that up?
Okay, ready?
Unbelievable. Well, I do own other color shirts.
Tom, why did you destroy Iris for their shelf offering and then explain away CleanSpark and Marathon's offerings? All companies try to use offerings to their benefits.
I literally just explained that. I didn't. There's a big difference between a $2 billion company having a shelf offering that is 1/3 its size and a $200 million company having a shelf offering that's 250% larger than their entire market cap. That was my problem. I still own most of my Iris Energy stock, but I felt like, maybe I did not, but I felt like I made myself crystal clear. I like their company. If management does the right thing, I said even back then, they could end up being a gigantic winner from this. But the problem is, it is going to take longer for the stock to move, because the next $500 million in market cap is not going to move the stock one penny. Why? Because all that's going to be new issued stock. So they got to get from $200 million market cap to a $700 million market cap. If they do that, if they get from 200 million to 700 million in market cap, their stock will not go up one single penny. So as a shareholder, you've got to become a lot more patient. Now, they may be a much, much better company, and that's probably going to take a long period of time for them to do that. But it's just math. So, I want to say I'm the great defender of shelf offerings and stock dilution amongst the Bitcoin miners. And I have taken more, I'm going to say, I don't know if hate is the right word. I've taken a lot of abuse defending people's at the market shelf offerings. But we have not seen one that's outsized like this, where it's many multiples larger than their entire company. So, that's, as a shareholder, and I made it crystal clear. I sold 1/3 of my shares. I held 2/3 of my Iris Energy shares, which I still hold right now. And I will, unless something changes, it is my plan to continue to hold that. But I got to acknowledge the reality that probably most of these other companies that I am personally invested in are going to outperform Iris Energy from a stock standpoint, in my opinion, for the next, possibly, for the next year or more. So we'll see how it plays out. But that was my issue. And I'll tell you, even $750 million is a lot of money, even for a $2 billion company. So it's not like Marathon's shelf offering was small. Marathon's done a lot of dilution, but I did just get through saying, as George and I were talking, this is a highly capital intensive industry. You're not going to get away with, not diluting your stock. That's not going to, if you're a Bitcoin miner, I can comfortably say if you're a Bitcoin miner and you are not willing to dilute your stock, you're going out of business. There's no other with Bitcoin at the price it's been through a crypto winter, you can't get any cash. There's 3 ways to get cash. You can get cash from operations, right? You can be profitable, cash flow positive. So that's one way. Number 2, you can go out and borrow money. That's debt. So these companies, for the most part, for the last couple of years, have been either not cash flow positive at all or a very small amount of cash flow positive. And several of them now are cash flow positive, but not to the extent of going out and buying the amount of capital expenditures that they need in order to grow their business. So they can't get it from operations. None of these companies, to any significant extent, are going to take debt. Nobody's going to lend them any money. And if they do take debt, it's likely going to be a big mistake, just like the last time. Any company that took debt got decimated. So, they can't get it from their operations. They can't get it from debt. That only leaves equity. So the only way these companies can survive and grow is through stock dilution. So I'm an advocate of stock dilution. And I'll tell you another thing while we're at it. A lot of people keep saying, I want my Bitcoin miner to start issuing a dividend. There will be no successful Bitcoin miner that issues a dividend for the next 5 years. That is my extremely strong opinion. And the reason for that is these are small cap, high growth companies. So this is not unique to Bitcoin miners. Find me a high growth company that's not yet cash flow positive, that's not yet profitable, and that needs to grow, that's issuing dividends. This is not a dividend stock. This is not a dividend sector. There could be a time, at Bitcoin 250,000 or Bitcoin 500,000, these companies could be all grown up and mature, and, years down the road, they can turn into a different type of company that's able to issue dividends. But I just, I've never really responded to that, but I've probably gotten at least 100 different comments saying, I can't invest in this company. They're not giving a dividend. And it's like, you got to know your investments. You got to know the industry you're in, and let me know. Drop in the chat right now if anybody disagrees with me. In fact, I'm going to do a poll.
Uh-oh. I will tell you one thing as you're writing up the poll. I think that, you gotta grow. And right now, no one's lending money. So this is the only way they can grow. My problem with Iris is it's the optics of it. If you would have just said, we need to raise $50 million or $100 million or even something that was palatable, I think it would have made a lot more sense of something that's saying, more than your market cap. It just doesn't make sense to me at all.
I agree 100%. Let me just read this poll I put up, and then I'll respond to that. Do you want your Bitcoin miner to issue dividends in the next 1 year? I said I'm going to say 1 year. So let me know, because let's see. Do you guys disagree with me? Do you think I'm on another planet here? And yes, to your point, George, they're not gonna go get $500 million in the next 12 months anyway. So why throw that at everybody at once? Now, I have said this 3 or 4 times on the channel as well. I think in their defense, I think their mindset was, on their drawing board, they knew what their plan was. They have a $626 million plan to build out the infrastructure they already have access to. They want to get I believe it's going to end up being a 600 megawatt facility in Texas. So in order to build out that infrastructure and fill it up with machines, by their estimation, and they explained this in detail in their investor presentation, that's going to take $626 million. So yes, they need every penny of that $500 million shelf offering, and they need another $126 million past that. And if I'm wrong by a couple of dollars, let me know. But in my head, I have the number 626 million. It was something along those lines. So, I think in their mind, they were saying, full disclosure, we already know this is our plan. We're just going to tell everybody what the plan is. But to George's point, more palatable, digestible chunks of this plan, I think makes more sense, because they don't know that they can go execute that whole plan anyway, right? There's too many variables between now and then to assume that they're going to be able to execute that whole plan. So, announce $100 million at the market offering and you can still talk about your long-term plans and lay them out and say, we are here. Our goal is to get there, without, putting an at the market offering. And I will be surprised if they go if they go use all $500 million of that shelf offering in the next 2 years. But maybe they will. Hopefully, if they do, it's because Bitcoin had a very nice rally where we end up, in a full-blown bull market. We end up, have another peak, a new all-time high. If that happens, and the price of all these Bitcoin miners go up, then, you're getting a lot more bang for your buck. If Iris Energy can sell shares at $12 a share, that is a dramatic difference than they're hovering between $3 and $3.50 a share right now. And by the way, when I talked about this, they were over $5 a share. And that's when I sold a third of my shares. So, and I just did so to take some off the table, give me some dry powder, because I thought there would be, some opportunities ahead. I am a buy and hold person, so I still, even with all of this said, I like their company, and I held most of their stock. But that's my personal, I'm not telling you guys to do that, right? This is not financial advice, as I say, in every video and on every live stream, because it really isn't. We're all talking, we're all giving our opinions and thoughts, and I let you guys know what I'm doing, but nobody should do what I'm doing, and nobody should do what anybody else is doing. Because everybody's personal financial position is different. Everybody's spot that they are in their life is different. Everybody's tolerance for risk is different. So all those things are part of your own investment equation. I bore you to sleep, George?
Yep. No, I just think that it's understanding the Bitcoin miners, now that we've been doing this for like 3 years, coming up to 3 years.
Yeah. Makes
me understand how much money is really involved in this, and how it's not really, since Bitcoin has fluctuated in such a degree in the pricing, it really is a crypto winner. And it is just, even though, we've had some movement, it's just rough. It's just rough.
This was a long, brutal crypto winter. And I know they all are, right? There's not like there's been a fun one. But by a lot of measures, this crypto winter was actually much more vicious than the previous ones.
Right.
This is the first time in the history of Bitcoin that Bitcoin has moved below its 200-week moving average and stayed there for months and months and months. So, 200-week moving average that's 4 years. So, for Bitcoin to be below its 4-year average for, I think it was 6 months, it's never been there for more than like 3 days. So, this was another level of pain, and it just kept going. And, when we bottomed out in June of 2023 or 2022 at around 17.5, it got worse, because then the FTX situation happened, which you were talking about today, and we hit a new bottom at 15,500. And if you guys remember, at 15,500, there were more people that thought we were going to 10,000 than to 20,000. So, we were in full blown. If I go to the Fear and Greed Index, which I will do. So I'm going to have to go to the long term, because we're even outside of a full year. Well, even if I just go back to a full year. Last November, we were at 20. And by the way, that's not the bottom, because I'll go back. In June of 2022, when we flash crashed down to 17,500, We got down to 6 on the fear and greed index. There's been about 2 or 3 times in the history of this thing that it's gotten down into the 5 or 6 range. You can see this line at 20 right here historically 20 represents pretty much extreme fear. We spent a chunk between 6 and 15. So, this was absolutely brutal. Now, to be fair, this index is only 4 or 5 years old, so we didn't have the crypto fear and greed index through all of the previous crypto winters. So I imagine, there would have been more of this every 4 years. But we're now at 70. So we were at 6. So this was ugly. And we are definitely, I'm going to go to the chart. I mean, we're from the bottom, from the recent bottom of September 11th to the top of a few days ago. This was a 40% move. But if I go for the last year, when we bottomed out during the FTX situation, which was this double bottom right here in November of 2022, until right now, we're up 116%. So, Bitcoin has more than doubled. And to George's point, most people feel like we really have not started the bull run at all yet. This is just, making up for lost ground. We're nowhere near. I'll go to the 1 week. We're still way off of our all-time high. So, in the Bitcoin cycle, you can't even start talking about, the peak of the next bull run. We're down from November of 2021. We're still down just about 50%. So, that makes sense. We were just under 70,000. We're just under 35,000. So we're still down 50% just to get back to the last peak from the last cycle, which was just about 2 years ago now. So there's a long, long way to go from here.
So, Tom, there's a long, long, long way to go.
So I'm very surprised by the results of this. See, you learn something new every day. What I've learned today is, do you want your Bitcoin miner to issue dividends in the next 1 year? 19% say yes. So this is very close to George's infamous 80-20 rule.
Isn't it crazy?
It's
how it always is. It blows my mind.
That seems to be how the world works. So there are some people out there that want dividends from their Bitcoin miner. So drop in the chat. Well, drop in the chat what your thought process is there. Would you rather that they give dividends to their shareholders instead of buy the next Bitcoin mining machine? Because, I mean, there's only a finite amount of money. Those are your two options. If you're a Bitcoin mining company, you're going to, obviously you got to pay to mine your Bitcoin. You got to pay your bills. And then, so if there's any money left over after that, you can do one of two things. Well, you can do one of three things. You can just hold it and build some money, for a rainy day. You can buy capital expenditures, in this case, Bitcoin mining machines, or you can return it to your shareholders through a dividend.
Or you can return it to yourself.
By paying big bonuses.
Yep.
Well, and that's another country heard from, for sure.
Speaking of which, and no one's talking about this, and it's funny how the news is really, really, really important when this stuff happens, and then people forget about it. Doesn't CleanSpark CEO get like a $10 million bonus now because he got the 10 exahash?
I don't know what the number is, but yes, the CleanSpark's bonus structure was based on, it was performance based, and that performance was based on growing their exahash. So yes, all of the executive suite got, now I don't think they were cash bonuses. It was all stock compensation, but yes, they got bonuses, at each threshold along the way, and I think there's more left.
Yeah, but I think the 10 the 10
10
the
exahash was a
10
key
was
number.
a really big one. Yeah, it was yeah. Because I remember everybody was going nuts. Because it was kind of outlandish what it was. I mean, for a company that's not making any money, and for a company that doesn't have a lot of employees. Sorry, I'm sure I'm going to get hated on for this.
I think we'll do a poll on this, but I think your opinion on this is probably in the majority. People do not like
Zach,
these
yep, that's his name.
bonuses.
Yeah, and I'm sorry, but I just hate this. I don't like it when you get bonuses like that and you have a company that's not making, profit per se.
Let me
And
ask you. Let me ask you counterpoint.
Okay.
Do you think that CleanSpark's operational performance was excellent in the year 2023? And I'm not feeding you an answer. You tell me yes or no.
I mean, yes, I do. I'm not going to say anything any further than that. That's all I'm going to say. Because
Okay.
CleanSpark people are my friends, and I'm not saying anything more than that.
Okay. So be
It's
it.
just when let me put it this way: money for nothing and chicks for free. And what I mean for that is when it's OPM, it's a lot easier than when it's your own money.
Well,
And that's does that make sense?
They're not entrepreneurs.
No, it's OPM.
That's
And I always hate that. You see,
but
sorry,
you,
Craig. I don't mean to, but it's not. So I guess what
Craig
bothers
agreed.
me, right? I know. I think, but what bothers me is I hate the word I. I did this. I did this. It was a team effort, and they should have a bonus structure for the company. Craig, did you get a bonus? I mean, that's the way you know what I mean?
And
And
I
I
don't
hate it when they do executive bonuses and they forget, the rest of the people.
I don't know, and Craig may or may not even be able to answer that question. I'm
Right.
not sure, but a lot of these companies do have bonus
And
structures.
Craig, don't answer. Tell me directly. Don't put that on open chat, please.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to ever get you in trouble. Sorry. No,
No.
it's a team effort, and that's and the reason why look at I understand they were the ones that bought the company and they made the risks and they made the investment. I
Here,
can't even say it. I don't
no,
want to say anything else.
Let me put it to you this way: we don't know. They may be compensating their employees very well, and their employees may have. So what? This is how I look at it. Every single person that works in the company can get bonuses from management. But management can only get bonuses from the board of directors, right? They're different than all the rest of the employees. So
Right.
they have to create these programs. And if you want to recruit and retain top talent in an industry,
Okay.
you've got to compensate them. So and that doesn't mean an endless flow of outsized unreasonable money. So I do think I understand a lot of people think that that's what's going on, that it's not so much that they're getting a bonus, it's that these numbers are just so big for companies. Like you said, these companies aren't making money. A lot of them are fighting for their survival, and while management gets bonuses. Now, for the most part, across most of these executive compensation packages, the bonuses are stock. So I do like that, because that essentially means that management's interests are aligned with me, because they're a shareholder just like I am. So it does no good to get a $10 million bonus in shares of your stock if your stock tanks, right? What you want is to turn that 10 million in bonuses into 50 million. And I don't know, there are I don't disagree, George. There's 3 or 4 of these companies where the executives get pretty big bonuses compared to other industries, and especially compared
Bingo.
to
Bingo. You hit it. You hit the nail on the head.
So it's a fair point.
I'm not saying this about any specific person.
Right.
I'm saying, but my next statement is this. Most of these people probably couldn't go other places and be in the exact same positions that there are and make the kind of money that they're making. And that's, and that's just as a stockholder of these companies, I just like them to be smart with their money, and especially with, why didn't they do it like if stock is over blah blah blah, exahash? I hope you hire the right people. I mean, 110 people. I don't even think it's 110 people.
At CleanSpark.
Yeah.
I can't speak to the compensation of their employees. I don't know the answer to that. I don't know. There have been other companies where, the Googles of the world that, through stock compensation to all their employees, they made everybody that worked for them a millionaire, right? I mean,
yeah, oh yeah. Even the cook.
Right. That's a very famous example. The guy that, that cooked everybody lunch was a, exceptionally wealthy person, and it's 100% on shares of that he earned from working at Google. So, there's companies that did that. I don't, these companies that we're talking about don't have the kind of market cap yet to do that, but they also don't have anywhere near the number of employees. So, I hope they're treating their employees well, commensurate with what they're doing for themselves. That's a fair point.
But it also means that you and I need to be more marketable. Now, if I see, it's kind of like the things between the recession and a depression. A recession is when it happens to you. A depression is when it happens to me.
That's right. That's the old.
Yep.
That's the old saying, and that's true. Edmund's saying, how can you give expensive bonuses when the company is losing money? Why not?
I know.
I think he's saying, why not just buy Bitcoin? But remember, you can't buy Bitcoin with shares of a stock, and these bonuses are shares of stock. And that, that it's still a valid argument. Why, there's a question out there. Nobody has the answer. Everybody has their own opinion. Here will be the answer. Let's see how these companies are doing, a year from now, 2 years from now, 5 years from now. Did these executive compensation plans lead to great things for the company, and then as a function of that, the shareholders? Because that's what this should be about. I mean, we're not to make it all about us, but we're the investors, right? These companies don't exist without us investing money in them. So, they better be doing right by their employees, and their fiduciary responsibility is to their shareholders. So, yes, I would hope that the moves that they're making are not just to enrich themselves. And we know, a lot. I think George's skepticism and a lot of people's skepticism is, based on experience watching other companies, not even necessarily in this industry, but other companies where people have just enriched themselves. Well, I'll give you one that's very close to home in the crypto universe. How many S coins are out there that were just, the core group of people did a pump and dump, made themselves multi-millionaires, and lost everybody else's money? So, that's what...
It's really sad. And I think that's one of the reasons why the channel is still as small as it is, by the way.
Yeah, people have been wrecked in cryptocurrency space. There's just no doubt about it. It's been absolutely brutal. Crypto Golfer said, so this means Tom and George will be sharing all of their YouTube money with the subscribers.
Absolutely.
If the only problem with that is you can't divide a penny. So we would have to give everybody significantly less than 1 penny if we were to share our YouTube revenue. So we love doing this, but it sure as heck isn't for the YouTube money.
Yeah, this is more because we enjoy you guys than anything else. You know that? This isn't. Tom and I would be having these conversations with or without you.
That's right. And it's,
Right?
and
we're much. I prefer to have it with you guys. Trust me, I'm not saying that. But there's no money from YouTube.
no, there's no, and that equation has changed because I've watched here's how much money I make on YouTube. But if you look, most of those videos are 2 years old, 3 years old, 4 years old. The YouTube money scenario has changed drastically. Not to even get people involved in that conversation because nobody cares. But for a channel of our size, we could buy dinner type of stuff with the money that we get on YouTube. Anyway, moving on. Bitcoin MicroPig said they've not made a profit yet, Darren. So you've won nothing really. So I don't know what the rest of that conversation was. If you know.
No, I don't know. We're talking about profit and profitability. The way companies actually raise money and like the way they talk about profitability is the best scam ever going. I mean, if you think about it, the best scam going is taking a company public with stock.
Well, and that's
you hope. I hate to say it that way, but it really is a scam.
You bring up, this is another, I think, reason a lot of people are jaded. Not only, forget IPOs, right? We got the IPO phenomenon, and how many IPOs end up falling flat on their face and everybody loses all their money? Well, we found a way to take it to a new level. We got these blank checkbook companies that they call SPACs. There's, with one or two exceptions, every single SPAC got absolutely decimated, and most people, if they bought and held, lost the vast majority of their investment. So this is yet another thing that's leaving a bad taste in people's mouth. It's been a tough market for the retail investors for the last several years.
Edmund, I'm going to tell you what I'm going to do. I'll take the super chats and we'll figure out how much we got. Does it break it down, Tom, that way? On YouTube?
It does. And remember, they take a chunk of that as well.
30%.
Yes.
Whatever is left over, 30%, whenever we find out what it is for this month, I will take it and I'll buy memberships with it for people.
Nice.
And let's do that. We'll do that all the time. So, I'm not, but that just means that you'd have to lose your membership in order to get a free membership. You know what I mean? But at least it's a way to give back. I mean,
yeah,
right?
Maybe I don't know. Maybe there's another way in addition to that we can do something. I'm not sure. You always got to be careful about doing giveaways.
We're talking. And that kind of stuff. We're talking right now. We're talking.
Exactly.
We're talking.
Well, it's well within our rights to give away memberships to our own channel, but other giveaways have rules and restrictions.
I'm going to do some. I'm going to give 5 away right now.
All right. Good luck, everybody.
Actually, let's go to 10.
10.
Do 5 and then do 5 again. I don't know whose credit card this is.
I got to do a poll on this because, well, good then.
Did you hear me?
If you don't know whose it is, then give away a 20.
Yeah.
No, I'm only kidding. You're just like management. Other people's money. No,
yeah,
I know that it's not other people's money. It's George's money. So you can thank George for George just gifted 5 memberships.
I'm going to do 5 more.
All right, welcome to Talking Investing. Crypto Golfer was gifted a membership. Ironhead was gifted a membership. Mark was gifted a membership. Did I miss anybody?
I'm going 10 more.
Ken was gifted a membership.
Right, welcome to Talking Investing.
On fire right now.
I don't know what my problem is. There you go, 10 more.
George just gifted 10 more memberships.
Welcome to the club.
You get a membership. You get a membership.
All right, welcome
just
to
so you
Talking
guys know,
Investing.
George does not get to pick the people these go to. YouTube picks them at random or however they do it. Ryan, His Honor, Chuck,
All right,
Crypto
welcome to Talking
Rich,
Investing.
Damien, Keith, Rock, Alex.
Everybody, You get a car. You
Eric,
get a car. Oh, wait, that's
JJT
Oprah.
Peters.
All right.
A lot of
welcome to
you
Talking
guys I
Investing.
just mentioned, I know you've been with us for a long time. So 3 or 4 names that I just mentioned, I recognize specifically have been with the channel, leaving comments on the videos for years now. So thank you, and I'm glad you guys, were some of the beneficiaries of the membership giveaway. And special thanks to George for giving away 15 memberships.
Woohoo!
That's a good
All right.
way
welcome
to
to
end
Talking
the week.
Investing.
This says Crypto Rich has joined. I'm guessing that's with
All
his
right. Welcome to Talking Investing.
free membership. Chuck has so it's going to announce the
Tell
winners
them what they
one at a
won,
time.
Tom.
Tell us what you've won. What you've won with your membership is, number one, there's in the members section, there's
All right. Welcome
I
to
don't
Talking
know,
Investing.
30, 40, 50, 60 videos in there of deep dives that we've done at the members request. So now that you're a member, you'll be able to participate every Tuesday after the market closes. We
All
do
right,
a
welcome to
members
Talking
only
Investing.
live stream. And so all the members have access to that. And during that live stream, the members get to recommend a stock for me to do a deep dive on.
All right,
and I
welcome
make
to
a
Talking
video that
Investing.
is for the members only. So that's, those are a couple of benefits. We have a members only Discord that is getting more active again. We had some,
All right. Welcome to Talking
and I
Investing.
think we still need to get a video out on connecting yourself into the members only Discord. I know there's some people that were having trouble doing that. It's not
All right. Welcome to Talking Investing.
it's not super simple, but once you see the video, it's not complicated.
Yeah, you know what? Let me do that.
All right.
too.
Welcome to Talking Investing.
So there's a lot of benefits. Membership is $5 a month. If you didn't win a membership, you're welcome to join now or later if you want
All
to
right.
help
Welcome to Talking Investing.
support the channel, and if you're interested in the additional content. So people are
Our-
thanking
our
you,
channel-
George.
All right. Welcome to Talking Investing.
Our channel has stayed at 1. Yeah, our Discord channels kind of stayed the same, which is funny. Funny, haha. I'm putting in the chat if you guys want to join the Discord. Here is the Discord information.
Oh, you got the Discord info you're putting in?
Yeah, not for the members, obviously. If you can't get in for the members, I will. I'll do that for the member stream on Tuesday at 4:15.
Seth, hello, welcome. I think I saw a comment from you earlier. Seth said, anybody here in the bear market is based? Yes, this was a true test of people's resilience. John Q. Public thinks that was your wife's credit card, George.
I know what credit card it was. It was my. I was just being funny.
Oh, Edmund's saying, Tom and George, give away one Talking Investing t-shirt to a member. Put all the active names in a jar,
That would be the
fishbowl.
first Talking Investing T-shirt ever made.
Yeah, we need some merch. We have no merch on the channel. We got to get
Dude,
t-shirts.
let's at least get to 15,000K before,
Yeah. Yeah, that's what we should do something at 15. I'm refreshing to see if we got 14,997 members.
Really?
Or
Oh.
subscribers. Pardon me. So we need 3 subscribers. I don't know if this updates in real time. I just refreshed and the number went up, so I'm not sure if there's a lag on that. I don't know, but thanks to all of you who are subscribing to the channel. And once this number gets over 100 likes, I can't read what the number is until the
137.
Oh, you can see it? Well, thank you very much for the likes. If you haven't smashed the like button, please do us a favor. Smash the like button. So let's go back. I think it's only fair to revisit the fact that so last Friday we really didn't get this gigantic daily candle was on Monday of this week. So we have not done a public live stream since Bitcoin took off. We were sitting here, I think this line was the last day of September. So we closed out September at 26,961. So under 27,000. And then you can see for, 10 days we went sideways. We had a big candle that still left us under 29,000. And then we had 1, 2, 3 days where we were sideways, and then we started to run up a little bit. But here in this very short period of time, we went from this 2 or 3 month line of resistance from the bottom to the top of this. This was a 22% run in like a week. So, and let's just go from the last time we did our live stream. So this was the closing candle last Friday. So if we go from there, so since last we talked, we should have started out with this, because since the last time we talked, Bitcoin's up 14%. So that's a monster week. Now, I know the Bitcoin miners did not do what I expected them to do in that time frame. So, that I said earlier in the stream, I'm disappointed with that. I'm definitely disappointed with the price action on the Bitcoin miners, particularly in this last week since Bitcoin had its breakout. This was what I've been waiting for. So I've been pretty patient with the Bitcoin miners lagging way behind Bitcoin. I thought this would be when they would start to catch up. Now, I didn't think that they were going to make up all that ground in 1 or 2 weeks, but I did think they would start to overperform versus the massive underperformance they've done for the last 14 weeks prior to this. But we really didn't get that move yet. So that is still out there. So like I said earlier, in my opinion, I do think for the Bitcoin miners that, I'm buying, that I have a high level of conviction in, and I'll take this time to say what I always say, I do think there will be winners and losers. I follow 19 of these things. I know there's some more out there even beyond that are, micro cap or nano cap type stocks. I think a bunch of these are not going to make it. I think a bunch of these will make it, but, they may not be the greatest investments of all time, even though they make it. And then I think there will be a handful that are going to be absolutely spectacular investments, in my opinion. So I haven't changed my mind on that, but I will say from a time frame standpoint, now I've always been I've been clear that I am a buy and hold, and for me, hold means 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, some much longer time frame than this. So, it really doesn't necessarily make a difference to me whether or not the miners run up this week or 6 months from now. But, it does affect our psyche, and at some point, some people will get washed out sitting here with this brutal activity. And, we're already the people that are left. Most of the people have already been washed out of this space. So, this is tough. And I think this week, for as happy as I am with the movement in Bitcoin, and I know, one of our members, Edmund, kind of shifted into directly holding Bitcoin and I believe XRP. So, for the purposes of this conversation, we're mostly a Bitcoin channel. I know George is a big XRP fan, and we do have some members that follow XRP. And XRP has moved way up the list, by the way. We'll look at that next. So my point is, we have some people that have shifted to holding the asset itself. And, they've lost patience with waiting to see if these Bitcoin miners do what we hope they're going to do. However, they haven't lost their conviction in Bitcoin. So, they've switched over to the underlying asset. So, that's a fair thing to do. I think through, I've added MicroStrategy to my portfolio. So while that still is a leveraged play and it's not a 100% direct play like owning Bitcoin itself, that is to me an acknowledgement that I want to diversify, beyond just the miners. Now I do continue to dollar cost average. Like I said, I did buy CleanSpark this week. So, and I think if I'm remembering correctly, I think I also bought some Riot this week actually as well. So I continue to dollar cost average in. But my heaviest dollar cost averaging, in November and December of 2022, I thought that was the buying opportunity of a lifetime. So, I bought a disproportionate amount at that time. We'll wrap this poll up. What are you thinking, George?
I'm thinking this. When do we give up on the miners?
Aha. Should that be our next poll? This turned out to be, so 25%, a full quarter of the people would like their Bitcoin miners to start giving dividends. So that's a big surprise to me. So there you go. George, surprised by that result? Did you expect this result?
I didn't expect anybody to really want. I mean, what's the expression? Want in one hand, shit in the other, see what fills up first. Because it's just not going to happen. If you want a dividend from these guys, it's not happening anytime soon. I mean, why would Iris go? Yeah, why would Iris go and give a dividend when they got to go raise money? They're going to go raise money to give it as a dividend?
Right. They've already said they need $626 million to do what they need to do. So
I mean, in Marathon just said they basically need $750 million.
Right. Right. And it also wouldn't make a lot of sense. If you have, here's two things that, and you can probably go find an exception to this rule, but it kind of defies common sense to have an at-the-market shelf offering where you're diluting your shareholders, but at the same time, giving them a dividend. Just don't do either, and they cancel each other out. You know what I mean? So, anyway, the people have spoken. 25% do want a dividend. So, those are the facts. So, I'm going to do, that is the wrong thing. How do I get rid of that? Let's do another poll to your question, George.
I'm mad. I just switched. I've been. Heck, I'll tell people. I don't care. I have a whole bunch of websites. I have tons of websites, and I'm a little bit of a geek, not a total geek, but a little bit of a geek. And I've been with DreamHost.com for a really long time. And I just switched to these dudes, and their price is so much cheaper. Cannot get over how much cheaper they are.
Did you say who it is?
I'm gonna put it in the chat. Yeah, I'm glad it worked. Thank you. I do it. What we're doing, this is just basically giving back some of the money that we get from YouTube, the millions and dollars we get.
The game-changing.
No, the reason I said that about when do we get out of the miners?
And I'm doing a poll just so that you know right now.
Because at what point in time? I mean, because it's been 2 years, Tom.
Right. No, I know.
It's been, for me, I'll be honest, it's been hundreds of thousands of dollars out of my pocket. That hurts too. Who likes losing money? Not I, said the wise man.
I don't think anybody likes losing money. That's a fair statement. Okay, when would you give up on the Bitcoin miners if they continue to lag both Bitcoin and your expectations? So I put 4 options. At the halving in April of 2024, 6 months after the halving. And I put 6 months after the halving because typically that's the window of time that in all the previous cycles, Bitcoin's gone on its bull run in that period of time. So at the halving, 6 months after the halving, before the halving, or never. What are we thinking? And we'll let that run for a couple minutes. We already got a bunch of votes on there. I think I'm going to be surprised at the results of this one as well.
But you can't hold and sell. I know. You'll be laughing on the moon. I hope so. Did I end up selling physical property for Bitcoin? So I'm in the process of doing that. I still haven't done it. And I have to have a root canal. I was supposed to go to Florida next week, and I'm stuck in Georgia until the end of... I'm thinking I'll stay for Thanksgiving now. It's supposed to
Yes,
get to
before you know
34
it.
degrees tomorrow, Monday, by the way. The best time I've ever had at Halloween was down in Naples, Florida. It was so much fun. So when I was a
I'll
kid,
vouch. George's a Halloween guy.
so not like the scary stuff of Halloween, the fun stuff of Halloween. The kids,
Can I tell 'em
making
what you
kids
do?
happy. Yeah, go ahead. I think it's the coolest thing ever.
George, for the past couple years, you've come over to my house and George buys, full-size candy bars. So he comes over with 200, 300, 400 candy bars, full-size candy bars, and passes out candy. Him, his wife, and we all. So that's Halloween, George.
That just, to me, is so much fun. I might still do it. I'm thinking about just jumping in the car and coming down.
And it's the littlest thing, but you
would, I'm telling you, every single kid remembers it.
Yeah, it's
I still to this day cannot understand why, out of every the places I've gone trick-or-treating as a kid, I never got a full-size candy bar.
No. And for those of you not from the United States, I know we have in Southwest Florida, we have a pretty heavy population of people from Europe, 3 or 4 countries in specific. And I know those countries don't really celebrate Halloween. And so you may or may not know exactly what we're talking about. But, once a year, all the kids dress up in costumes and go out and get candy from strangers. So, that's also kind of a weird thing, but that's what it is.
And the majority, I would say 99% is safe. There's always those 1%,
Exactly.
But I don't know. There was a big news article in New York Post about Hershey's chocolate. I'm going to type it in right now. Not that I
Type it in.
see what...
Edmund's saying, Tom, just set up a Talking Investing LLC and let members buy shares so they can share in the channel's big bucks. All I would be doing is taking people's money. Because I don't know how to tell you guys, there's no big bucks here. And I don't know, you know what? If the channel, maybe a year and a half from now, we're having a different conversation, right? If the channel takes off, if Bitcoin takes off, if, the YouTube equation changes, there was a time where people there was a time where people were making, I've seen the videos, right? Kevin was making, millions and millions of dollars a year. I'm telling you, if I wanted to buy dinner every night with what we get on this channel, I could not do it. It's not even close. So.
Well, and then you got expenses too. I mean, Let's be honest. I mean,
Right, you gotta live.
no.
yeah.
I'm saying.
On the
I'm talking-
channel.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, there's a lot of equipment, etc.
So they said consumer reports finds a concerning level of lead in chocolate in Hershey's.
Of lead?
and cadmium.
You're not
I don't
getting
know
me
what Cali-
out of from stopping eating chocolate. I don't care.
They said 16 out of the 84 products that they tested had harmful levels of lead and cadmium, or both.
That's disturbing.
Yeah, wasn't it? Except for okay, the products found excessive metal contains in dark chocolate bars.
Oh, come on.
hot
That's the stuff
chocolate
that's
mix.
supposed to be good for you, the dark chocolate.
Yeah.
It's good for you
Hershey's
except for the lead.
cocoa powder from Hershey's, semi-sweet chocolate chips from Target, and hot chocolate mix from Trader Joe's. Oh, wow. Only milk chocolate bars, which had fewer coconut solids, were found not to contain XF metal content. Oh, that's good. So you're
Milk chocolate.
fine. Milk chocolate was okay.
Good. Because I'm going to keep eating it. Mr. J said, please be safe this Halloween. Thank you, Mr. J. That is good advice for everybody. Crypto Golfer said, in the 70s, we got full-size candy bars everywhere. I don't even remember if they made miniatures.
Oh, wow.
I
just missed it.
Yeah, I missed it by that much.
It's been
You
my
just
whole
don't
life.
remember.
Hey,
you
know
were
what's
trick-or-treating in the 70s. You just don't
You know
remember
what's
it.
funny about that? That kind of goes with, first I'm missing out on full-size candy bars, and now I'm the first year where I have to be 68 to retire instead of 65. I'm the
Yeah.
first effing year. Did you know that?
And by the way, that's what you think until then
Oh.
by the time you get there, it's going to be 70 and then it's going to be 72. Anthony Power said, good evening, Tom. Anthony, welcome. And I need to catch up with you, sir. I've been distracted in every way under the sun, but I'm looking forward to we talked about getting on the channel and having a chat. So that's on me.
It's definitely him. It's not me. So Tom, when are you giving up on the miners?
I'm going to wait until after the poll.
Oh, you are? Okay, you don't want to bias it? I'll tell you my answer. I think that if we haven't moved by the halving, I think that's a big problem, and I'm going to be very nervous, and I'm going to have to reassess at that point in time.
That's
Who's
a fair
Anthony
that's
Power?
a fair statement.
Stephen English, I'm glad you said that too.
Well, for those of you who don't know, go on to the I guess it's X now, but Twitter. And Anthony has a big presence there. Anthony also does a lot of analysis of the Bitcoin miners. A lot of detailed
really?
analysis, a lot of excellent charts, and you do a bunch of other things.
Did you hear me?
No,
Andrew Tate.
Not Andrew Tate. That's not even
Oh,
close.
Okay. Did he change his name just because he got into the miners?
I don't believe so. We'll ask him that when we talk. But I'm quite certain the answer is no. I'm sure a lot of you guys know exactly who Anthony Power is. Some of you may not. If not,
Oh my goodness.
you will.
So, you guys want to hear something funny? And I know this has nothing to do with Bitcoin, and I'm sorry. But do you remember when I was ripping on, I guess I'm a ripper. I guess I'm a very negative person. And it wasn't even that I was being negative. When I looked up that guy, girl, or girl, guy, whatever she is, I don't know. It was like Arden or Do you remember, Tom? The girl from that was going to be talking in the Bitcoin magazine.
And what
It
happened?
was like, remember, she turned out to be. I said, "Well, that's a funny looking person. That's a funny looking girl." And somebody writes, "It's because she's a man." I'm like, unbelievable. I picked the one person, right?
I
That just
think I
happened to
remember
be.
this. This was on a stream,
Yes, it was
and
on
you
a
were
stream.
you didn't say anything.
Negative, nothing, anything.
You
So
you were very ambiguous, and I didn't know who you were talking about, so I didn't know what you were talking about. But somebody picked up on it.
Really, I followed her on X, by the way, and I'm just gonna get myself in trouble. It's a tidbit. Remind me when we come to members chat, and we'll talk about it then. And then I don't have to worry about getting in trouble in the general public.
I did not
I'll
know.
just
I
have you
didn't have
guys
any
hate
idea
me.
who you were talking about at the time, but I now know who this person is, and they're also prominent in the Bitcoin universe. Am I wrong? I mean,
No, but they're very prominent, Tom. But it's the information that people get that's really concerning. That's how probably the nicest way. It's amazing how everybody thinks one way, and then they get pigeonholed, so to speak.
well, I will tell you this, and somebody mentioned it. Anthony's orange charts of all the miners are great. And so if you go on Twitter or X or whatever anybody's calling it now, you can't miss them. And it is a lot of great information. So, you guys know I try to slice this up in a lot of different ways, and Anthony
You know what's
slices
funny?
it up even more different ways than I do, and
I
he's always
can't
got
even
good
find 'em.
information.
I can't even find him. Did you know that?
I'm surprised you can't find him.
I can't find him under his name.
For real?
Yeah, I typed in Anthony Powers, and I did top, I did latest,
Are you on
and people.
Twitter/X?
No, I'm on X. I got Anthony Powers 2026.
Just add Bitcoin.
Okay, you say that. Sorry, no results. I am dead serious.
Are you sure you know how to use that thing?
No, not sure.
Crypto Fever said, sorry, George, disagree with you on that one as well. You may end up selling right before the run if you give up on them right before the halving.
No, not before the halving. I said right after the halving. I'm not that much of an idiot. I'm not saying I'm not an idiot either.
Just not that much.
That much. Right after the halving. Probably like, 30, 45 days. These things are going to be like...
Let's talk about the poll results. We got okay, Anthony Powers saying it's at Cazenove _UK. CAZENOVE. I feel like I'm taking my eye exam because I accidentally shrunk my chat, so like it is so tiny I can hardly read it.
Oh, okay. I'm going to copy it. How about that?
Yeah, copy and paste. I cannot believe that
know
you don't
our-
run.
You know our response about talking to people outside of the country, right?
What?
I'm just teasing with you guys.
Like, we talk to people outside of the. We have
There
a
he
very,
is.
We have a very thriving, very supportive group from.
He was a military guy.
Yes,
Nice.
I think half of our subscribers are from the United States, but we have a lot of subscribers from Canada, and I think one of the reasons for that is the Bitcoin
I have to
miners.
ask him a question.
Go ahead.
I have to ask you, and I'm not putting you on the spot there, Mr. Powers, but how is it working with Compass Mining? Oh my goodness, the dirt I have on that one time. Unbelievable.
You guys all have to talk outside of the. I bet that's not the first time that he's got that
Unbelievable.
question.
No, I just wondering how he's been because he says he does analysis. I mean, I want to see if he's in a paid relationship with them and he gets paid and they pay him, or they don't pay him. You know what I mean?
I don't know the answer to that, but I know that
Ironhead, UK. He's from Ironhead's from the UK too. Huck, as we like to.
well, that was the next thing I was going to say. We have a lot of people from Canada. We have a lot of people from the UK. And as you know, sometimes we ask people to drop in the chat. We have people from all over the world. Even though we're a small channel, we still have an international group of people, which is awesome.
That's her name, Lynn Alden. Lynn Alden. I'm independent and company, publish my own. Yes, paid. Oh, I'm glad. Okay, cool.
Nice, yes, and
I'm glad to hear that. And
Yeah,
you're probably right, Team Bitcoin. I'm sure you are 100% right. Because I don't even know what a Bitcoin is and what does it do. Sorry.
what?
Were you going to talk about this? Give your opinion on the
on the poll?
Yes.
Okay, so let's talk about the results at this point. At the halving, 14%. 6 months after the halving, 48%. So almost half the people 6 months after the halving. If the Bitcoin miners are not doing their thing, people will be concerned. Before the halving, 10%. So that doesn't surprise. The only thing that surprises me about that is it's not an even bigger number, because remember, we're the last ones in here. So a lot of people are already long gone. And then 28% never. So I will tell you, I definitely have two checkpoints on here for sure. The first one is after the halving. So I will not be ready to bail, but you know, I think that is going to be an extremely important time to, you know, update and evaluate and you know, see what's going on. So I don't, unless something's changed with the actual performance of the miners, I don't think I would sell after the halving if they still haven't made their move, but I would certainly take that as an opportunity, you know, sometime within, you know, a few, maybe within inside of a month of that, we'll also get quarterly, 10 Qs from everybody. So that'll be a big checkpoint for me. But I will say, if we're 6 months after the halving and the Bitcoin miners are still significantly underperforming or even underperforming Bitcoin, if that means that's basically a year from now. If over the course of the next year, the Bitcoin miners underperform Bitcoin, I'm talking about on a one-to-one relationship, then in my mind, they have not done what I expected them to do, and I would have to take a long, hard look. And the first thing that I would consider doing is really, at a bare minimum, going to absolute best of breed at that point. You know, the miner that I think, you know, one or two miners that I think, you know, are the ultimate winners. So I would be very surprised if the Bitcoin miners don't outperform Bitcoin between now, you know, that's over the next 12 months. Inside of that assumption, I'm assuming Bitcoin's going to do some portion of a decent bull run. So if we have a decent bull run and the Bitcoin miners are still not acting as a leveraged play on Bitcoin, then the first thing is that would be the first time that ever happened. But that doesn't mean it can't happen. But if it did, then I definitely, 6 months after the halving, I would have to take a long, hard look. I just don't think, you guys know I'm very bullish on Bitcoin, and I have a big part of my portfolio in the Bitcoin miners, but I don't want to sit here and say, you know, no matter what happens ever, I'm just never going to change my mind on this. I think we all have to update our investment thesis periodically based on, you know, the information we're going to have information a year from now that we don't have today. So just by that fundamental fact, we're going to be more knowledgeable than we are right now. So we'll be better suited to make a decision. So that's kind of my thought process. I'm just not expecting that at all, but you never know. So at the halving, that's not. I'll be disappointed, but that would not be time for me to check out.
This is interesting. Have you ever heard of a thing called tip ranks?
Tip rank, yeah, absolutely, tip ranks.
Oh, okay. Are you in it? Do you know if you are?
I get all the information. I have an account I have a bunch of different accounts. So one of the brokers that I use gets all the tip ranks information. So
No. I'm saying, are you in it? Like, does anybody have, or is it only people that are series whatever 7, 8?
Yeah. Those are yes, those are analysts that work for investment firms. And just as a random thought to add on to that, I always say from time to time I'll take a look at what the analysts are doing in some of my videos, but I really take that information with a grain of salt. The analysts all work for different companies. They have, I'm not saying anything. I'm just saying they all, they're getting a paycheck. They have different agendas, and they cover a very wide range of things. So for me, the amount of time that I spend looking at Bitcoin miners, is in all likelihood a lot more time than they do. So, that's just me personally. And forget Bitcoin miners. Even if it's something I have no knowledge on whatsoever, how many times if you've never done this, go look at the Bitcoin or go look at the analyst's price target on anything, their 1 year price target, write them all down and then check back a year from now and you'll see that they're usually grossly incorrect. And that's not even a criticism. It's, they don't know the future. Things happen throughout the year. So I don't pay a lot of attention to what analysts say. I pay more attention to the notes that they have and what they talk about than, their price target that they put on things. But you'd be surprised. So oftentimes is the case with the Bitcoin miners. And, I know a lot more about that than I do about most of the other industries. So a lot of the times I'll read these reports and it's almost like I feel like they just, it was a homework assignment, get something on my desk by tomorrow morning. And there's not a lot of thought put into it. A lot of times they don't seem to me to make very much sense or be very thoughtful. So that's my personal bias probably. But, in the end, the same thing I say about myself, this is not investment advice. And the same thing is true for these, people that put price targets. They don't know any better than you do, and they don't know what you should do with your money. So, rant over.
Man, Tom, we've gone long. It's 6:40.
Oh, wow. Yeah, we should probably wrap it up. Ryan is saying JP Morgan is the most bullish on Iris Energy. Yes, they are. They were bullish on Iris. They were bullish on CleanSpark. Their price targets on Riot and Marathon, I did not think that those price targets made any sense. But again, I take it all with a grain of salt. It seemed to me like that person, that's one of those, nothing, no offense, but, those price targets didn't make sense to me, personally. We'll end this poll. We have 63% of the people. Basically, if the Bitcoin miners have not done their thing 6 months after the halving, 63% of you that'll be enough for you guys. And that's fair. I mean, this has already been a tough road. So that, 6 months after the halving is a year from now. So if we got to sit through another year of this, that's not going to be fun. I'll tell you this, George, we'll probably add a second topic to our channel. If
yeah, really. I guess it can't be EVs anymore.
It won't. That's right. It won't be EVs. If the Bitcoin miners are having another bad year, then we'll start talking about. We'll take suggestions. We'll do a poll.
Come on. Trying to get my kitty cat up here. Come on.
Edmund
I have
saying,
all these crazy animals.
Tom, Iris has to be in the top tier of miners. They are simple to understand. They don't mess with hosting or leasing space. They build great facilities and have years of power management. I agree with that. I don't know that their stock is going to have the best performance over the next 12 months, but I don't care so much about that. Like I said, I'm a 2, 3, 4, 5 year time frame person, and I like what Iris Energy is doing, and I think there's 5 or 6 companies that I think are very, very strong still. We'll see. Time will tell. And if Bitcoin, all of this is predicated on the fact that Bitcoin has some reasonable bull run. It doesn't have to go to the moon, but if Bitcoin has another bad year,
Come on.
all these miners are going to struggle. That's just the reality. Seth is telling me I just hit 15,000 subscribers. All right.
You did it. Did you see, does it show the changeover?
Let me see on my back thing here.
It did it.
15,001 subscribers. Thank you, everybody.
We did it, Tom. Woo.
Much appreciated to all 15,000 of you. And special thanks to all the members and to all of you who have been here for a long, long time as a group. This is George always says this to me off the air. This is a great, great group. Both of us enjoy it. Talking to you guys a lot, and I think we have one of the best groups out there. So, thanks for being with us. Thanks for getting us to 15,000 at long last. Now we got to set a new goal.
I told Tom we just need one more 0 and we're good.
That's right. That's a tall order. It seems like a small thing to add 0, but
0. One lousy 0.
One lousy 0. Yeah, we're not looking to be, the next million subscriber channel, but some growth would be nice. It will help us keep doing this and do a better job and all those things. So thank you to everybody.
Are we signing off?
We're signing off. Thank you, George.
Yes,
for
we had a lot of fun.
15. George gave out 15 free memberships today. So
Woohoo.
Thank you to George.
Remember, free isn't free to somebody else.
That's right. It's free to those who received them, but
yes,
at the expense of George. So thank you very much. Thanks, everybody, for joining us. I hope everybody has an awesome weekend. Any parting thoughts, George?
No, none. I'm
All right.
just sick as a dog, so sorry I've been off my game.
My parting thought, as always, go Bitcoin.
See you guys.
All right. Good night.